Hey there, it's Kay, and thank you so much for joining me for today's budget video where I will be sharing with you guys my real numbers for my second paycheck of April 2021. But as always, before I get started, I do want to thank my returning subscribers. Thank you guys for joining me again. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to see you follow me on my journey by subscribing down below, as well as hitting the notification bell so that you do know when I upload. So without further ado, let's get into this budget. I can't even believe that I'm on the second paycheck of April. Like, time is just going by so fast this year. Because this is also my last paycheck of April. And so if you don't know where these numbers come from already, I highly recommend you check out my monthly budget video because you'll be able to see where the numbers come from and how I split it amongst my paychecks. But I only had one source of income for this period because I will not be taking in my car registration sinking fund because I couldn't get an appointment to register my car until May. So yeah, it's a little awkward that I'll be illegally unregistered for a few days, but whatever, it's COVID. They can't blame me. It's not my fault. So the only income source I have is from work. And my actual paycheck was $14.48. So that is my only source of income. However, I'm very lucky. It was more than I budgeted for. So I do have a surplus of $2.48 that I'm working with. So I can go ahead and take these numbers into my first budget category, which is fixed expenses. I always pay my fixed expenses first because they're usually the most important and they're always reoccurring. So for my tuition, it is a fixed monthly payment of $50, and Adobe Creative Cloud is also a fixed monthly payment. It's like $15.99. I just rounded up to $16. And then my rent and utilities both get paid together, and my rent is a fixed expense, but my utilities are variable. I do just group them into fixed expenses together as one payment because they're paid on the same check. So it came out to $853. So it was less than I budgeted for, and I've actually had to increase my rent and utilities budget because I just find that gas has increased in price. And that's how my water and stuff is heated. So I unfortunately am having to pay more for utilities than I was previously. So that kind of sucks. That's why I've had to increase my rent budget. But I am underneath what I budgeted for, which is always the plan. So we didn't have any variance on these two, but we did have a variance here. So I'm going to end up with a surplus of, let's see, $47. So that means for the category I was surplus 47. I'm gonna grab my calculator here, my trusty old TI. I've had this thing for 10 years. It's still running strong. It's actually been like 11 or 12 years. I obviously injured it a little bit, but it still works great. And I think it displays the best on my videos. So I'm going to go ahead and add these up. So we had 50 plus 16 plus 853 is 919. And then 1448, second answer, meaning that it's going to subtract the last stored answer, which is that. So 529. And 248 plus 47 means we now have a surplus of 295, which if you want to double check the math, if you take 529 and then subtract the 295, 234, which is what I originally budgeted for. So that's how we know that the math worked out, closing out that section. And you can see I didn't budget anything for my variable expenses on this paycheck because I already stuffed it off of my first paycheck. And same thing with sinking funds, and also same thing with extra debt. But because I have such a surplus here, I think I'm actually going to throw that towards starting to pay down my next student loan. So my next student loan is Nelnet A. So let's see, we're carrying over $529 and the surplus was $295. So that's what I'm actually going to pay towards the student loan there. And then what that's actually going to do for us is, let me zoom out so you can see. What that's actually going to do is leave it so that the $234 I budgeted towards my emergency fund, that amount will actually stay the same so that I won't have any variance on that. So $529 subtract $295 is $234. So you can actually see I already literally did that on the previous line. But in case you just wanted to double check, so that leaves $234 minus $234, zeroes out the budget. So there wasn't a variance on this emergency. There was obviously a variance of $295 that we didn't originally budget for. So that we entered the category with a starting variance of $295, and then so we ended the category with a variance of 0, and we entered it with 0, and so we're leaving it with 0. There was no variance on this. This was exactly how I budgeted it. So although this was a very simple, clear, and cut budget for me for the most part, I was able to at least get a little extra payment going on my next student loan. So there is my second paycheck of April. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Also, if you're not already subscribed, I highly recommend you do so that you can continue to follow me on my budgeting journey. And I hope to see you guys in the next video, which would be my debt snowball update for the month of April. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace out.